Good morning, good morning. I hope this video finds you well. Now, welcome if you're new, by the way. This is a spur of the moment video, and it's none of it's going to blend, but I saw a couple of things and I thought, you know what, I'm going to ask about this. But I also want to ask about the EBS, and I did put my friend's reading, which has just fallen out, as soon as I spoke about the EBS. Okay, still fighting for it, still fighting and hoping to still do it. Maybe they're still battling. Maybe that's what's going on at the moment. Because that's a fighting kind of card. So maybe they've still got that to do first. So yeah, I wanted to ask about the EBS because sometimes I just think, you know what, when is something going to happen? This is so frustrating. And a lot of people say that on this channel. Loads of people say that in the comments, and I think we're all a bit exhausted with it all. Another thing, look, they're really going for people in this country with disabilities. Why did that fall out? Disabilities. Honestly, this government may go down in history of one of the worst. Okay. So I was talking about Pip. I wonder if that's more about the future, not actually what's going on now. Yeah. So, and then I just saw in an article. It actually came up on Facebook about the schools, and I thought it has to be a joke. It wasn't, and I read it. I put it on the community page. I've done this reading before, but I was so shocked I have to do it again. So it's a real mixy-matchy kind of reading. Okay, so where do I start? Oh, dear me. And I also don't think necessarily reform will get in. I think reform, I had 7 of Cups for reform. I think reform are just to show us what we could have, in a way. I think I just can't see it myself. This is an agreement. So is there going to be... I do think there'll be some kind of swap over. Ooh, and a good swap over at that. So, completion. Is this for Labour or is this for reform and I'm wrong and they get in? But it looks like this situation is going to completely evolve and completely change. I don't know how, and I've always said that. I don't know how we get there. And I keep reading on Labour and reform. Look, if they do take over, fantastic, but I just don't know how it's going to happen. Well, they're not going to just pull a general election and say, okay, we're all going to stand down actually because people don't like us. So I just wonder if it's to see what we could have, how favourable they are, so that, and I still think maybe something will come along like an EBS. Otherwise, we're going to be in this situation for 4 years, 3 more actually. But that was that. Then quickly, I'm going to move on to, they are shocking what they're doing to people with the disabilities, taking away the EHCP, so the special educational needs statement to help the children in mainstream schools. Well, then put them all in special schools and look after them properly. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. And I have first-hand knowledge of this, so I have a right to say what I think. Invest in them then. Put the money in. Put them in decent schools where they don't feel different or left out, or you're trying to integrate and, give them the support they need. Maybe they can be integrated when they're older. It's a learning, developmental age, and it's a precious age actually for all children, those formative younger years. Anyway, they're not looking after disabled, special needs, obviously the elderly. It's always the same people. So I hope something happens before they carry on with these policies. Let me see. What have I got? Oh, maybe they will fizzle themselves out somehow. I have strength on the bottom. Kindness and compassion. Now, we were always meant to have more money for people in those positions, not less. So we're at that point. We're at a pivotal point now where it either gets way worse or they pull the plug before this can get worse, and then we do have a nice change. This could be a very positive message or announcement or some kind of media announcement. I wonder if, you see, I find this hard to believe, but I know recently they've been saying, oh, we're going to backtrack on so-and-so because the people don't like it. I don't know if this is a bit of theatre. I don't want to pull loads of cards because I've got other things to ask and I'll be here all day and I keep going over the same thing. But I just find it so frustrating in reading about this. Korea. That's very interesting. I think something's going to happen with where they are at the moment. Politics. I really do think something will happen. Now, I'll ask that in the end. So the next thing is, I saw this post on Facebook. I was shocked. I'm so shocked. I find it hard to find the words, and you know that it's very unusual for me. Okay, I thought it was a joke. There was an article in the Daily Express saying children as young as age 5. I'm going to have to be careful how I say these things because I get a strike, other people don't seem to, but SEXUAL, assaults in schools. And you know what? People were saying in the comments, oh, it's, the parents. No, sorry, don't blame the parents. Have you seen what the curriculum is, what they are teaching these young children, what they are absorbing? I don't know if parents know. I don't know if this has all been done a bit on the sly. But where do you think they picked this up from? Why would it be different now to it was 30 years ago? It's coming from somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, rant over. But, and I said on this thing that, these children are going to need healing. Well, that's really great news. This is going to come to a conclusion. Whoops. I feel, yay. Okay, I think eventually the world, so eventually this will be wrapped up. Eventually, hopefully, we'll go in a new direction. But I think eventually this information or this curriculum, because there is information here and it's hidden. Okay, maybe things that parents aren't aware of. I think this will be reflected upon and changed. I mean, it couldn't get worse, could it? But, and I've read on this many, many times. Soulmates are important people who teach you life lessons. Friends, lovers, family members. Oh my goodness. I'm wondering about the future with teaching. Who's going to be teaching? Because they're gonna have people giving them proper lessons, and the people who should be giving the lessons, which are supportive family members, friends, lovers. I'm not saying the teachers aren't. They're following a curriculum. But I wouldn't follow a curriculum like that. Anyway, I can't give too much of my opinion. I get in trouble. So that looks good news for the future because that's shocking. Those poor children, the poor children. If they can't get them one way, they'll get them another way. It's just appalling. Grounding. The beginning is where you need to be. So we're going to go right back to the beginning. And we're going to ground. So they're going to have grounding. And also it could be that things ground to a halt. This all stops. And we start looking after our children, special needs, disabled, elderly, and everyone else as well at the same time. Change will be better than you think. Yes. So they're going to have to adapt. They're going to change. Could be very different people teaching those kind of lessons. If not, it could be left to the family. That's really good news. I'm really pleased about that, actually. Right. So thank goodness. Another thing I wanted to mention, it's interesting to me. I have been looking at the newspaper, and the newspapers seem to really not report on everything they're supposed to be reporting on, if you know what I mean. Especially things that should be of public interest. Certain trials, things like that, they kind of skirt around things. So as far as I'm concerned, the media aren't playing ball still. So this leads me to think you have to have an EBS, or we're just going to carry on like this for the next 4, 5, 6, 10 years. But the media are not playing ball. So I want to ask about that. Are the media not on board at the moment with, or do not want the changes? Or, yeah, I think there may be people that are still here that, you know, in authority, maybe making those decisions, maybe when they go or whatever, maybe then. I feel like it's stuck and it won't change, and that's what makes me think we need an EBS. Oh yes, do I need to do a reading? All the cards have flown out. So the media. Okay. Oh wow. Wow. Well, 2 major arcanas in one reading. I believe at some point they're going to completely change. Okay, the Lovers, this is a choice, and it could be political, but it's a choice to be fair and balanced, and it's not. That's exactly what I was saying. It's not balanced. Okay, now I think that will be backtracked, changed. There'll be a new beginning and justice. So wrongs will be righted, and they will be, to be careful how I say this, have to change, okay? They will have to change. Justice is a major card. Justice is coming. But, you know, the thing is, whoa, that was the only one. The other way around. Okay, so I'm going with that one. Family is everything. Reconnect or tell them you... That was on the back. Family. Keep getting family. Interesting. Proud. Be proud of where you are, where you've been, and where you're going. Ooh. Proud. Whoops, put that one there. So the media. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. What's on the bottom? Wait for it. Oh! Oh dear. I've got 2 oh dears. Okay, right, done. But we are stuck. And as great as the answers are, I still feel we're stuck. We feel really stuck and stagnant. Why are we stuck? Where are we stagnant? When is something going to happen? When? When? And I still think we're getting EBS. When might something finally happen? Maybe when the drama's over? When will this grind to a halt? It could be that they're making everything more secure for us, or securing everything first. So I do think, obviously, things are happening. I just, come on. Let's move on. Let's get this show on the road. Can't keep doing the same reading again and again and again, because, let's be honest, these are the readings everybody wants. And another thing, some of those readings I put up may not look of interest. Look at them anyway, because often I don't put... The one about herbs was more about tobacco than the first 2 cards I got. But I don't want to put that in the heading, in the title. So I often leave out words and stuff. So unfortunately, you might just want to have a look at it anyway, that one. And there was another one. No, SEX, we're British. That's about what's going on television. You might want to watch that. So sometimes I just don't label what they actually are, okay? So, when? Right, hold on. When? Well, this is where we're at. Oh, when? Well, there's a major hurdle still. They're trying. They're so trying to bring out a new beginning and to start this, get this show on the road. They really are, actually. But there's all this mucky stuff going on at the moment. That's where we're at. And very disappointing news. Things haven't maybe gone to plan. It could be a situation they can't shift. They can't resolve. Something physical they can't let go of. They can't. It's something that won't be passed by. Can't be passed by. It's like a roadblock, but it could involve like people or a situation, like a physical situation. Okay, that and you know, this is what happens next. So it's like we're at a major crossroads, and that is exactly why that's what happens next. Why we're getting why isn't something happening? Why is it not happening? It is really it is a battle. I mean, there's no two ways about this. I honestly think they are really strong and gaining strength, but I do feel like they need things to be more secure to give them that advantage. I feel like they're doing sorry, I was interrupted, so I don't know where I was, but I think that they're really using all their strength they can to keep the world secure and get the world maybe more back in their own control. But obviously this could be like a manipulative situation or dominance and power that makes it difficult. It's almost like the chains. It's like take the chains and then swap the control. The chain has to break and then they swap the control. When I do think there's going to come a point where it will be like, that's it, done, give up. Yeah, I do feel like that. What's this card here? Was it that one? Yeah. I don't think it's far away. I wonder if this is about... So I wonder what happens next. I wonder if it's about either security or a king. Okay. Anyway, maybe that's what happens next. But, so obviously I'm then going to ask... Oh, my poor pussycat looks so tired. He's been awake since 5:30. He woke me up. That's why I'm doing a video. That's how I feel. Go back to sleep. You saw his face. So this old EBS, apparently Australia, somebody said yesterday, thank you, in the comments, that they've been having practices of an EBS. So for those people who said there wouldn't be one, come off it. Why would we all be doing practices, and why have they not? I don't think they've used this yet. But anyway, oh yes, Australia they're practicing. Oh, they're practicing. Fantastic. They're practicing. Yay, strength. Yay. So they're going to use their power. Wow. This is how maybe they gain their strength. I think it has to be done at this point. It's never going to end otherwise, is it? It's never going to end. So this EBS, this little old EBS. Okay. You know what? And I look at this card, I just think that's exactly how the world is now at the moment. It is literally at that point of complete chaos. Absolute chaos. Swords as well. Chaos. It just has to end soon. It has to end. It's just really, really awful. I wonder if something will happen in the summer, which is June, obviously. I said, will there be an EBS in summer? Now, I have the Queen of Wands, so it's about the truth. And she's golden, which could be summer for me. Oh, maybe finally. Well, as you know, it's a secret. So when people say it's happening, they don't know when it's happening. Nobody does, except those people in the top. It's secretive, okay? When they pull the plug. And I think this will be, those 10 days of darkness. When they're about to start that journey of uncertainty, fear, and all the truths coming out, that I feel will complete everything. And I still think that is there because it's a secret. And they have to tell people. You can't carry on like this forever. Unlock your creative side. Express yourself. Home. Yes, we need a change in our home environment. In our home environment. Yes. Renewal. Yes. Time to begin again. Stronger and better. Yes. Yes. We're tired. We're tired. Okay, I'm going to ask one question in a minute, actually, just to clarify it. I just did. I'm going to do another one. Aha. Outdated. Personal stories, emotions and attachments you're holding back from positive growth. See, we're being held back. Awakening awareness. See? That's where we're at. We are really stuck. And we are stagnating. And we need to flourish and grow. I said it'd just be a little video. Oh my goodness. I said, will we have an EBS? Has to be. It just has to be. I don't know exactly when. It's always that question. It's a secret. Oh, I think I saw a tower. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe there's a few more people that have to go. Okay. To do with the past. I feel like we're still on that path of showing us what's been going on. And okay, so yeah. I do think, honestly, it's like some people are dragging their feet. Okay, and I think it's been disappointing. I think it's taken longer than it should have. Or there's been obstacles. So last one. Did Australia do it emergency broadcast practice because they're planning on using it anytime soon? Whoa! Oh, well, I did get a yes. Yes, they're pending. They're waiting. They're waiting to be enlightened. So they're enlightened them already, I would say. And that's about patience. Good news is coming. I said I've got a yes. Yes, they want the truth out. That's why they're doing the EBS. They want the truth out, okay? About, the control that's going on. And temperance will renew everything. It's a major card, okay? And that's how they'll manage. This is about managing it. So how they will manage it to bring in a renewal. This is like, we're stuck. Australia and the rest of us, we're stuck. They're stuck. We're stuck. We're in limbo. He's literally in limbo. We're in limbo. But then that will help manage the situation and hopefully change the situation. Wow. I have courage. Red rose. Be brave, be strong, believe. Absence. What is not here is the key. I think that's what will happen. I'll just pull one of these and then I'm done. Oh my goodness, I have music. I was going to say, is Australia preparing and the rest of us for an EBS? That's on the bottom. Yes. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.